We learned about this railway from Darlington to Stockton being the one that gave birth to all the others.
I now declare the Stockton and Darlington Railway underway.
I never knew that a railway could be so famous, and I realised that we should be more part of the Head of Steam Museum because it's really good for our school to learn.
One of the stops is actually in our village. It was really exciting.
On the 27th of September in 1825, they were able to open the Stockton and Darlington Railway.
We live in a place where trains were first invented.
The Stockton and Darlington Railway was the first passenger carrying railway. From here, it's spread right round the world. This is why it's so important that we celebrate it. This is why it's important that we provide a legacy for future generations.
We played the fish belly instrument.
This is a fish belly rail instrument, and it's made from the pattern of the 1825 Birkinshaw fish belly rail that George Stephenson introduced to the Stockton and Darlington Railway.
I find it quite surprising that we've had this big of a history. It's quite a small town as well.
I'm just very proud that I've been able to come here.
Once communities start to feel a sense of love and ownership of their heritage, they can use that to transform their futures.
We learn how the first trains were built and who built the first trains. They taught us about how George Stephenson got inspired to build trains.
A boiler, a flame, and two returning flames.
This is excellent.
Russians were bursting out of different areas. This area, that area, that area, that area.
I've got two questions. How did you plan to make the train?
How big was the locomotion? What number one? How did you get all the money?
How did you put the trains together if you didn't have screwdrivers?
Do you know Joseph Pease?
Indeed, I do know Joseph Pease. I'm very pleased that you've asked me that question. My son, Joseph Pease, has a statue in the middle of Darlington. Have you seen Joseph Pease's statue? This is not just about your future. I know. Or my future. Mm-hmm. This is the future of the railway.
We've worked with target communities in the North Road area, on Redhall and in Middleton St George, all close to the original line.
We work with Redhall Primary, with St Bede's School, with Springfield, with Middleton St George Primary, Corporation Road Primary, Reed Street, Middleton St George Beavers Group.
And our aim was really to try and build community engagement.
I think the starting point for us was putting our trust back into the communities.
The artists that were chosen to work with the schools were actually selected by a range of community groups.
We came here today to vote for which artist we want to do the heritage line.
We've put in a bid to deliver activities of an artistic and creative nature.
This feeds into the ethos of what Heritage on Track is about, really, which is getting lots of people from lots of different backgrounds in the room together, all of whom have a passion for this community and the history that underpins it.
I think seeing all the artists is good because it's just a small town and we don't really think that we have a lot of people like that here.
There's also been a lot of work with Redhall communities, which has been less about telling the story of heritage and more about getting them engaged and interested.
I think it's really important that the local area and the people in the local area and young people in the local area learn more about the importance of the Stockton and Darlington Railway and how it changed the world.
We wanted to see how that story of change and of ingenuity could be brought back to life for communities that are living today and are wanting to capture some of that spirit of adventure.
From being a little girl, from being born in Glasgow and coming to Darlington on the train, I've always been fascinated by trains, and it's good being part of the railway and part of the history.
So we are connected with this old railway, and I've thoroughly enjoyed today's experience.
Are you ready? Well, my goodness, I think it was a unanimous decision, sir.
The museum often tries to get families involved, and I think Heritage on Track has been great at trying to encourage families to be involved with the railway heritage and learn more about the Stockton Darlington Railway in general.
It's great when you go to lovely railway museums like here at Head of Steam and you can see original objects and railway engines, but in some ways it's the things in between museums which are just as important. The countryside, the physical remains that are left, the things you don't normally get to see. What I like doing is sharing that knowledge with people, letting them see things they wouldn't normally know where to go or how to get to.
We walked along the old railway line, over the bypass, over the bridge, and then along by Tornado Way. We saw the famous Skerne Railway Bridge, the one that was on the £5 note, if you can remember, and then ended up back here. Yeah, great day.
I think on the walk today we've seen parts of Darlington that I've seen many times but have not associated with the railway.
You learn a lot and you see things. I mean, I've walked up and down that a few times and I've seen things that I'd never seen before.
I feel like kind of happy that George Stephenson made his first train close to where we live and our school. In our classroom, George Stephenson walked through it to go to Mr. P's house. I'm really proud that the railway is our area because then you get to learn more. If you're near to something related to local history, then you get to learn more because you'll actually get to go to that area.
Instead of just taking the words into your head, you can see how it happened and how it was done.
Over the next few years, we're going to be counting down to the anniversary of Stockton Darlington Railway in 2025, and it'll be great to extend the legacy of this project and build on that and hopefully get more families and communities involved in Darlington so they can become involved with the bicentenary and visit the museum and learn more about the Stockton Darlington Railway.
Our job is to make sure that there are more opportunities for them and more things to do and more ways for them to get involved and keep developing their skills and experience on the way.
To me, the legacy is the past that we've inherited, the knowledge of the railways, but also projecting for the next 25, 50, 100 years that people can look back and see what we did and how we work together as communities.
It's going to be an enjoyable experience for people who come to Darlington and to Stockton and Chiltern in 2025 for the celebrations. We're going to come from all over the world, and it's wonderful that we've got something like this that you're able to develop and show people just what a wonderful heritage we've got.
Do you want to work in my mill?
Yeah!
How many of you would like to work in my mill?
I think Darlington needs to celebrate the history a lot more than it does. It's hidden away, and hopefully thanks to the Friends of the Railway we will see lots of signage and lots of information and be proud of our history.
Now I think that the mists of time are swirling and we must return to a place in history.
I would like to do more of this sort of thing because we got to watch plays and do loads of nice activity, and this was the best day we've ever had at school.
We also got to know more facts and more about our town's history because not a lot of people, especially our generation, would know a lot about it and wouldn't know how famous we are, and I guess I kind of learned about it today.
It's about ideas coming, thoughts being transferred, people meeting new people, to share expertise and learn more and kind of explore and create yourself, and that was been a big part of it for us.
It's important to know where you've come from the people that are in your area, and to celebrate the things that have happened where you live. We're hoping that children will use that piece of history to think about themselves, what they could accomplish.
And I sat down and I saw some pictures of our school and I was very proud that our school was in it.
Just opened up a whole new world.